Do you know the secret of truly successful people? It's not in the amount of money they earn, nor in the luxury cars or grand houses you often see in magazines. It's not even necessarily in the fame they have. I spent many years, ladies and gentlemen, many years fumbling to find the answer. Then, when I was just 25, drowning in debt and feeling like my life had hit a dead end, I was fortunate to meet my mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf. He showed me one thing, a simple secret that completely changed my life. That secret lies in how they transform themselves into the best version of themselves. Not by trying to become someone else, but by unlocking the infinite potential deep within each of us. Together, we will explore how you can do the same. Not on some distant day, but starting right now. So, what is the relationship between personal development and success? Why do some people seem to have it all, money, status, but deep down, they still feel empty, still feel like something is missing? I used to think, just like many of you, that having a lot of money would solve everything. If my bank account was full, all my problems would disappear. But there's a truth that few people talk about that you need to know. True success, sustainable success, isn't just about what you own on the outside. Your income, ladies and gentlemen, rarely exceeds your personal development. Sometimes, income might take a lucky leap, but if you don't grow yourself to match it, life has strange ways of pulling everything back to where you are. Success is the direct result of continuously improving yourself. Those who constantly develop their skills, refine their mindset, and build good habits, they will always stand out. Why, yes? Because when you become more valuable, when you bring more value to the marketplace and to the people around you, you naturally attract more opportunities and better outcomes. It's a fundamental law. My esteemed mentor, Mr. Schoaf, once told me something I'll never forget. I was young, full of ambition, but also stuck in a rut. He said, "Jim, if you want everything around you to change, you must first change yourself." At first, I didn't understand, honestly. I just thought, change what? I just want more money. But through his lessons and my own experiences, I gradually realized the problem was never a lack of money. The real problem was a lack of ideas, a lack of personal development to create, manage, and keep that money. Look at the examples around us. Like Oprah Winfrey, an extraordinary woman. From a poor girl in rural Mississippi, facing countless challenges and adversities in her childhood, she rose to become a global icon, a self-made billionaire. What made the difference? It wasn't just innate talent, but an insatiable desire to learn, a relentless will to change and grow every day. She turned hardships into opportunities for growth. Or take another example I deeply admire, Nick Vujicic. Born without arms or legs. Imagine the barriers he faced. Yet, Nick became an inspirational speaker for millions worldwide, a husband, a father. What enabled him to do that? It was his extraordinary willpower, his powerful inner development, and his focus on what he could do, not what he couldn't. These stories, and countless others, all point to one thing. The foundation of all external success is inner development. And this leads us to another important idea, an idea that, when I truly internalized it, changed the way I perceive everything. Have you ever wondered why success seems to find some people without them having to chase it? It's as if luck is always smiling on them. I used to think that success was something you had to hunt down at all costs, something you had to seize and fight for relentlessly. I was exhausted from that chase. But then I learned that success isn't something you pursue, it's something you attract by the person you become. Imagine this: success is like a beautiful butterfly. If you keep chasing it, it will fly away. But if you patiently cultivate a beautiful garden, full of fragrant flowers and lush greenery, the butterfly will come to you and settle there. That garden is you yourself. When you become a person of value through the knowledge you accumulate, the positive attitude you spread, and the consistent, purposeful actions you take every day, success will naturally find its way to you. Why is that? Because the value you bring to the marketplace, to the community, to the people you interact with, will determine the rewards you receive. We are not paid for our time, ladies and gentlemen. We are paid for the value we bring in that time. And here's something interesting. Research conducted by Harvard University, the Carnegie Foundation, and the Stanford Research Center revealed an astonishing result. They found that 85% of career success comes from having well-developed soft skills and personal qualities, while only 15% comes from technical skills and knowledge, i.e., hard skills. 85%. This shows that who you become, your attitude, your communication skills, your integrity, your leadership, your empathy matters far more than what you know in theory. Technical skills might get you a job, but it's your personal qualities that will help you advance and truly succeed. I remember very clearly the teachings of Mr. Schoaf. He had a way of speaking that was simple yet profoundly deep. He said, "Jim, don't set a goal to make money. Set a goal to become the kind of person who can make money." At first, I found it a bit confusing. If I don't set a goal to make money, how will I get rich? But when I started focusing on learning, improving myself, developing the skills the market needs, and striving to become a better, more valuable person, something miraculous happened. My income naturally increased, far beyond what I had ever dreamed of when I was just an ordinary salesman struggling with every paycheck. It wasn't magic. It was the result of applying a fundamental principle: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Because when you get better, everything around you gets better. When you grow, your value increases, and when your value increases, the rewards you receive will follow. That is the power of attraction. It's not a tiring pursuit, but an inner radiance that draws good things into your life. So, we have seen that true success stems from personal development, and it is something we attract rather than chase. But there is another aspect, one that I believe is even more important than money or fame. That is happiness. Happiness is not something you have, but something you become. Would you like to hear the story of someone who found it, even when they thought they already had everything? Many of us, perhaps myself in the past, often mistakenly believe that wealth will automatically bring happiness. We think that if we have a bigger house, a nicer car, or a fatter bank account, then we will be happy. But ladies and gentlemen, wealth does not guarantee happiness. The big question we need to ask ourselves every day is not, what am I getting from this job? Or, how much money am I making? But the truly important question is, who am I becoming? It is becoming a better version of ourselves, living a purposeful life, and contributing meaningful value to others that is what brings true fulfillment, a deep and lasting happiness. Why is that? Because true happiness is an internal state. It does not depend on external factors that are always changing. It comes from inner peace, from the satisfaction of becoming who you are meant to be. I once met a very successful entrepreneur. He had everything people dream of: luxurious villas, a fleet of high-end cars, a thriving business. But when we sat down to talk, I sensed a restlessness, an emptiness hidden deep in his eyes. He admitted to me that despite having it all, he still didn't feel truly happy. Then one day, he decided to try something different. He started dedicating just 30 minutes each morning to reading books on personal development, books that helped him understand himself and life better. He also began meditating, seeking stillness amidst the chaos. Gradually, bit by bit, he found peace and joy from within, a kind of happiness that money, no matter how much, could never buy. The last time we met, he said to me with excitement, "Jim, I'm still running my business, and it's as busy as ever. But now, I work with a completely different mindset. I feel happier, more fulfilled, because I'm becoming the person I've always wanted to be." His story is not unique. It's a testament to a simple truth. When you focus on personal development, you don't just attract material success. More importantly, you create happiness from within. Because as you grow, you expand your perspective. You gain a deeper understanding of yourself, your core values, and the world around you. This growth brings a sense of control, the feeling that you are in charge of your life. It brings meaning, knowing that you are living a purposeful life. And it brings connection to yourself, to others, and to something greater. These are the core elements of a happy and fulfilling life. So, don't just ask what you are getting. Ask yourself, who are you becoming? That is the most valuable journey. So, we have understood that personal development is the foundation, success is something we attract, and true happiness lies in the person we become. Now, you might be wondering, all of that sounds great, but where do I start? How do I actually make a change in my life? That's a very valid question. And I want to share with you something my mentor, Mr. Schoaf, taught me. With just 3 simple steps, you can change everything from your financial situation, your relationships, to your mental health. And the first step might surprise you, because it's not about working harder in the way most of us usually think. Become a student of life. Read books. Attend seminars. Learn from successful people, those who have achieved what you desire. Because ideas are the starting point of all change. Our biggest problem is often not a lack of money, but a lack of a powerful enough idea to make a difference. Make learning a serious study. If you want success, study success. If you want happiness, study happiness. If you want wealth, study wealth. Don't let your life drift by randomly. When Mr. Schoaf first told me to read books, I thought, what can books possibly do to change my life? I used to be someone who didn't enjoy reading much, but I decided to follow his advice. I started with just 30 minutes a day. And I remember very clearly, the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill completely changed my mindset. It opened up a new world for me, new possibilities I had never imagined before. Or take goal setting. Before I was 25, I knew nothing about setting goals. I just lived day by day, working hard but without any clear direction. But when Mr. Schoaf taught me how to set goals, and I started applying it, my life truly turned a new page. Everything became clearer, more purposeful. So, the first step is to commit to continuous learning. The second step, after you have the ideas, is action. Go to work. Apply the knowledge you've learned into practice. Don't let your learning remain mere knowledge in your head. Let it lead to concrete action. Because knowledge not applied becomes meaningless. You can read hundreds of books, attend dozens of courses, but if you don't take action, nothing changes. Action, even the smallest, creates momentum and brings results. Don't wait until you feel perfectly ready. Start from where you are with what you have. And the third step, a crucial step to maintain change, is discipline. Maintain good habits even when the initial motivation has faded. Start with small disciplines. Because discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. Motivation can help you start something, but it is discipline that helps you reach the finish line, helps you overcome difficult days, moments when you feel discouraged or want to give up. I remember Mr. Schoaf taught me that you cannot tackle the big challenges in life if you don't learn to face the small ones. Make a list of small things you can do each day to get closer to your goals, and discipline yourself to do them. This not only brings results but also trains your mental muscles, preparing you for bigger challenges. 3 simple steps, right? Find out, take action, and discipline. That is the formula my mentor gave me, and it changed my life. And I believe it can change your life too. We've talked about learning, taking action, and discipline, 3 foundational steps to changing your life. But there's another invaluable resource we can tap into on the journey of personal development, one that we sometimes overlook. Did you know that a single conversation with a successful person, or even just carefully observing them, can completely change the trajectory of your life? I experienced this deeply with my mentor, Mr. Earl Schoaf, and it truly became one of the most precious lessons life has given me. Observe, listen, and learn from those who have achieved what you desire. They are not just success stories in books. They are living proof that success is entirely possible, that the goals you set are not out of reach. Why is this so important? Because success leaves clues. Those who have gone before you have faced challenges, made mistakes, and found effective paths. By learning from their experiences, you can avoid unnecessary mistakes and, more importantly, significantly shorten your own path to success. Think about it. In any field, the best have teachers, mentors. Great athletes always have dedicated coaches who not only teach them technique but also instill a fighting spirit. Talented musicians learn from the masters before them, absorbing the essence and developing their own style. In business, in art, in science, anywhere, seeking and learning from the best is always a smart strategy. And the numbers don't lie. A recent survey shows that 70% of entrepreneurs who had mentors kept their businesses running for 5 years or longer, double the rate of those without mentors. This demonstrates the immense power of learning from the experiences of those who came before you, from people who have been in your position and found a way to overcome. Personally, I dedicated 5 full years to learning from Mr. Schoaf. I didn't just listen to every word he said in seminars, I also observed how he lived, how he treated others, how he made decisions. I tried to absorb his philosophy of life. He saw potential in me when I was just a bewildered 25-year-old, and he challenged me to become a millionaire. And ladies and gentlemen, I achieved that at the age of 31, a year after he passed away. It wasn't because I was smarter than others, but because of the power of having a mentor, a guide, someone who believed in you more than you sometimes believed in yourself. So, open your heart to learning. Seek out people you admire, those who have achieved the success you aspire to. Read their books, listen to their talks, and if you get the chance, find a way to converse with them, to learn directly from them. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Be an eager student. Because one idea, one piece of advice, one story from them could be the missing piece, the guiding light on your journey to conquer new heights. Motivation is what you think you need, but discipline is the real key. Do you want to know why many people start with plenty of initial motivation, full of enthusiasm for something new, but ultimately fail and end up back at square one? Here's the reason. Motivation, ladies and gentlemen, is like a summer downpour. It comes quickly and powerfully, but it also fades just as fast. It's an emotion, and emotions are always changing. Today, you might feel full of energy, but tomorrow, when challenges arise, when boredom creeps in, that flame of motivation can easily die out. But discipline is different. Discipline helps you move forward even on the toughest days, the days when you feel tired, discouraged, and don't want to do anything. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it through. And one crucial thing is, you must learn to motivate yourself. Never wait for someone from the outside to turn you on. If your boss has to do it, if your spouse has to do it, if your friends have to do it, then you're in big trouble. Because they can't always be there for you. You have to be the captain of your own ship in life. So, why is discipline more important than initial motivation? Because discipline builds habits, and it is these good habits that automatically lead you to positive outcomes without the need for constant motivation. When you repeat a positive action with discipline long enough, it becomes a part of who you are, like breathing. You will do it naturally, without much internal struggle. I remember days, especially early in my career, when I didn't feel like doing anything. Seriously, there were mornings when I woke up, saw the rain outside, and just wanted to pull the blanket over my head and sleep more. But I learned an invaluable lesson from Mr. Schoaf. He said, you have to discipline yourself to do what needs to be done, whether you like it or not. At first, it was really tough. But I started with very small things. I practiced waking up 30 minutes earlier each day just to read, even when my eyes were heavy. I practiced writing down my goals every day, even when they seemed far-fetched. I practiced making one extra call to a potential client, even though I feared rejection. It was those small, seemingly insignificant disciplines, maintained day after day, that built powerful habits. And those habits laid the foundation for much greater success later in my life. Because life isn't always a bed of roses, it's not always smooth sailing. There will be times when you're tired, discouraged, and want to quit. If you rely only on motivation, you'll stop at the first sign of difficulty. But if you have discipline, you'll keep moving forward, step by step, even if slowly. And it's that persistence, that resilience forged by discipline, that makes the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. So, take action and cultivate discipline. They are two indispensable companions on your journey to conquer your peaks. Many people fail not because they are not smart, not because they lack opportunities, but because they try to take shortcuts. They try to be clever with life. They want to achieve results without putting in the corresponding effort. Can you guess what saves those who, after initial stumbles, eventually achieve sustainable success? It's the realization and return to a basic principle: don't try to beat the system. True success, ladies and gentlemen, comes from taking the time to understand how the system works, whether it's the economic system, the social system, or the natural laws of life, and then working hard, working correctly according to those laws. Never try to cut corners, Don't look for easy paths or cheap answers. Because, as an inevitable rule, you will only get a cheap life, a temporary success that easily crumbles. Why is that? Because the basic principles of success are unchanging. They have been tested over thousands of years. Perseverance, honesty, integrity, and doing the right thing, providing real value, these are things that are always rewarded in the long run. It may not be glamorous, not as quick as the promises out there, but it is solid. It builds for you a foundation that no storm can topple. I have seen many people, throughout my life, trying to get rich quickly with all sorts of tricks, joining quick-win schemes that sound very attractive. Most of them, ladies and gentlemen, fail, even lose more than what they had initially. But the people I know, those who have built sustainable success and earned true respect, they took a different path. Take my friend John, for example. Initially, like many young people, John tried every way to make quick money, and at times, he was drawn into enticing offers. But after a few stumbles, he realized that there are no shortcuts to real success. It was only when John decided to stop, invest time and effort to learn a real skill, build his business step by step with perseverance, honesty, and doing things the right way, that he truly succeeded. Now, he not only has financial stability but also the respect of others and a sense of pride in what he has built. Because, ladies and gentlemen, trying to beat the system or take shortcuts is often based on ignorance or, sadly, greed. It ignores the laws of cause and effect and disrespects the value of genuine effort. True success, the kind you can be proud of, the kind that brings peace of mind, must be built on a solid foundation of contributing value and adhering to ethical principles. So, learn to play by the rules. Work hard and smart. Be patient. And remember, the righteous path may be a bit longer, but it is the only path that leads to a truly worthy destination. We have journeyed together to explore important principles for building a successful and happy life. From understanding that we must work harder on ourselves than on our jobs, that success is something we attract, happiness lies in who we become, to the 3 specific steps to change, learning from successful people, the power of action, discipline, and doing the right thing. Now, as our sharing session is about to end, I want to ask you one thing. Tomorrow could be the first day of a new life, a more brilliant and meaningful life, if you decide to start today. My teacher, Mr. Earl Schoaf, completely changed my life when I was just 25 years old, a young man drowning in debt and despair. He gave me the keys, the ideas, and most importantly, he instilled in me the belief that I could change. And you, ladies and gentlemen, what will you do to change your life, starting tomorrow? Take action now. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait for some day, for some better circumstances. Because I must tell you, the perfect moment never comes. The perfect moment is right now, when you realize the power is in your hands, when you decide that you deserve better things. Even if it's just a small step, a decision to read a book instead of scrolling through your phone, a commitment to wake up 30 minutes earlier, a call to someone you admire for advice, do it. Because every small action, when done consistently, will create tremendous momentum, bringing you closer to the best version of yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest challenge and also the greatest opportunity in life is this. You can absolutely have more than what you currently have, because you can absolutely become more than who you are now. The only limit is the one you set for yourself. I want to share this with you from the bottom of my heart. I have stood where many of you are today. I have felt stuck, lost, and unsure of how to escape my difficult circumstances. I once thought that fate had already been decided. But when I decided to invest in myself, when I began to learn seriously, when I dared to take action based on what I learned, and when I cultivated discipline, everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything changed in a miraculous way. You can do it too. Start with a book, a meaningful conversation, a small action you can take tomorrow. Don't underestimate the power of small beginnings. And always remember, your better future, the life you've always dreamed of, does not depend on anyone else, does not depend on circumstances. It depends on you. Take that responsibility, seize that opportunity, and create an extraordinary life. Thank you for your time and attention.